Our story of overfishing begins in a town called Monterey, California. Monterey sits on a beautiful bay many tourists and travelers go to visit. The Monterey Bay was once a huge center for fisheries. The bay was full of sardines, a commonly used fish for snacking and cooking. During World War II, soldiers needed easily accessible foods that they could quickly access on the battlefield and while traveling that still provided the essential nutrients needed to carry on through the days or nights during battle. Fisheries and scientists quickly decided that canning certain meats and fish would last the soldiers a long time and could provide protein and energy for long days and nights. Because of the increased need for sardines, Monterey Bay quickly became the center for sardine fisheries. The fisheries in the Monterey Bay became some of the largest fisheries to supply our soldiers with sardines to eat. By the 1950s, however, the Monterey Bay was completely empty of sardines. The fisheries soon collapsed, and what was some of the largest fisheries in the world were now closed. They completed what is now known as the process of overfishing. Overfishing is one of the most prominent and damaging problems that our oceans face today. Overfishing occurs when there is a high demand for one species of fish in particular, and fisheries and fishermen go to extreme measure to acquire the species. Unfortunately, it is very common, and overfishing causes species to become endangered and in some cases extinct. Overfishing is now being practiced all over the world. Restrictions for fisheries and how they acquire their fish basically do not exist or are rarely enforced. If overfishing continues as it is being practiced now, our oceans will be completely depleted of the fish we are used to eating, like tuna, cod, salmon, and other big game fish. 1.2 billion people across the globe eat fish as their main source of protein every day. If overfishing continues and we do not have any fish left to eat, it will drastically affect our nutrition and health. This will not only affect our diet, but also the food web of the ocean environment. If these fish become extinct, then the predatory species, such as shark, will starve and eventually die off. Smaller fish would become extremely overrun, which can cause a major bacteria imbalance within the ocean environment, making epidemics like red tide more common among our oceans. Another negative factor that overfishing causes is a factor called bycatch. Fisheries use large nets to gather all of the fish they want and often catch other species like turtles, sharks, seals, and other fish species they were not fishing for. These extra catches, or bycatch, are thrown back into the water dead or dying. Overfishing is a huge problem that we can reverse if we change our own ways.